So you saw one preseason game, and that's enough for you, right? Lost by 2 touchdowns. Each quarterback turned it over. At least, no, just once. Just seemed like more than that. Oh, and the play calling stunk. Defense was terrible. We're no fan of Aaron Rodgers in this show, but he did say something once that rings true here in early August. RELAX. Even my Shough grammar, spelling, whatever you want to call it, knows that spells relax. It's one preseason game. You have to save some of your hating for September through December. But we are thrilled that you brought the love to the Dattitude podcast, which starts now.
If you're looking for the latest scoop and in-depth interviews on the Saints, the NFL, the Pelicans, LSU, along with the best bets of the week, then lucky you. Along with high-powered, in-the-know guests who cover our teams, Jim Derry brings plenty of Dattitude. And he'll always tell you the way it is, or at least the way he thinks it is.
Where you at, Dattitude family? Chicken Little. Paging Chicken Little. Sky's falling. It'll be all right, Shough. You know why? Because this is Dattitude, episode number 401, presented by Evangeline Securities for a Monday, August 11th, 2025. If you're new to the show and you're just diving in because you can't wait to see what the comments are going to be today on this Mano E Monday, you're in the right place. And I am your host. I'm just here coordinating it all with Gabe Henderson in the green room. Yeah, that's all. I'm just going to direct traffic today and let y'all just go off because it's the end of the world as we know it. And I'll be here for the ride. I'm your host, Jim Derry, 35 years on the New Orleans sports media scene. And I thank you for being a part of the Dat family, the ever painful, it's the end of the world, Dat family. I haven't even looked at a single comment yet. I just know that's what it's going to be. And the fact that when I signed on this morning and Gabe came into the room and we we only had like a 20-second pregame chat because it was cluster F Monday. I've completely screwed up the show. I had to change all the scores in the slides, had the wrong score. It just didn't go anything as I planned it to go in my head. You know, it's preseason for me too. But when he came in smiling, I knew that he likes to look at them comments before we get started. He was laughing it up. Yucking it up. Anyway, you know what's special about today's show and every show? Well, today is Mano E Monday. It's our first real Mano E Monday after a game. I don't care if it's preseason. It's after a game. It's Mano E Monday. We are here. We're going to have some fun. You are going to be basically our main guest today, all of you, because we're going to just show comments all day long, and we're going to talk back and forth, and I'm going to talk you off of a ledge. Or maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. But we do that every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We talk to you. That is what is different about this show than other shows. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, live at 11 a.m. Central Time. If you're watching after the fact or listening on any of the major podcast platforms because you don't want to see my ugly face, I completely get it. You can get in touch with me, as many people did yesterday, on X at Jim Derry Jr. or via email at jderrytheadvocate.com. And some people have found me on Facebook and decided to talk to me there too. It's okay. Glad to hear from you all. I'm sorry if my responses sometimes are short and sweet because I got a lot going on right now. We're doing NFL previews. We had the Denver Broncos this morning. If you missed it, we're doing it in shorts, 2 divisions per week. This week, it's the AFC West. It's the NFC West. Again, we started with the Denver Broncos this morning. We will have the Arizona Cardinals as we begin the NFC West this afternoon, assuming that I can get to it. I have not recorded it yet. It has been crazy. As I told you, it was a chaotic start. I had to go change all the slides. There really isn't a whole lot of script this morning because it was just that crazy. But we're going to have a lot of fun. You know what? I'm going to do something I don't normally do. I'm going to get to comments before I even talk about anything else. Gabe, I'm going to just letting everybody know if there's one I shouldn't read, please tell me in the comment and in the private chat, because I'm going full Ron Burgundy this morning. I'm just showing comments, and I'm going to react as I read them on the screen. And I'm going to start with my friend Rocky. There he is, typing in all caps, baby. Good morning, Dattitude Nation. Relax, it is preseason game 1, but y'all still think the Rat is the guy. Well, it's fair to say he had the most of the starting line. That's a lot. That's a lot, Rock. I'm just going to say this. That's going to be obviously one of our main topics. I got the dime going this morning. New format for the dime. That's coming up in just a little bit. I am not going to read my dime script. I'm just going to go with it. Look, QB1 race is I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. It's exactly what I said it was going to be so far. And it's one preseason game. You can't overreact to either guy. I mean, I'm not going to say, okay, I was right because of one preseason game. No, that'd be stupid. I mean, it's the same thing. You don't overreact to either guy. You don't overreact from Spencer Rattler played, 5 or 6 series? Tyler Shough played, 6 series? Jake Haener played a couple series. He's done. We knew he was done anyway. The point is, we're not overreacting to anyone or anything. Okay? There we go. Maybe apathy is. He says, that was horrible to watch. Rattler is terrible. Everything from last season carried over. A game of bingo between 80 to 86-year-olds at a nursing home is more entertainment than whatever that was. Well, it's preseason. It's not supposed to be entertaining. Gabe Henderson, how much preseason did you watch this weekend? He's doing this. Does that mean none? I mean, I watched it. Look, as soon as the game was over, I turned and I looked at my daughter was sitting next to me. It was her birthday. By the way, another shout out to Ella Derry, birthday number 14 yesterday. She was sitting next to me. She goes, ooh, that's not too good, huh? I said, yeah, that's 3 hours of my life I can never get back. It's been 3 hours, 3 hours of my daughter's birthday watching that. Gabe says not a single play. Saw some highlights. That's it. He never even considered turning it on, he said. I had to. UBM says this is going to be a fun one. All right. Daryl Hayden, welcome to the Dattitude family. I'm making 2 bags of popcorn for this one. Probably start drinking, day drinking, 20 minutes in. We're only 9 minutes in. You can start now if you want. Just do me a favor. If you do start day drinking, make sure you come back and comment towards the end. I want to hear you comment to all that. Chad Gage, hello, I'll roll with Shough. Rat lovers all over social media yelling at Moore. Call better plays for Shough. He called better plays for Tyler Shough. The play calling was definitely different. That is part of the show. Look, I'm just saying the play calling was absolutely different for Tyler Shough than it was for Spencer Rattler, and there's a reason for that. I'm going to get to it. Daryl also says his dad would have been 86 today. So blessed. Had him for 81 years. He would have already called this morning asking who Daryl thought he looked best in the game. Oh, shucks, Pop. Is that what you're trying to say? Gary, good morning. Predictable outcome for Sunday's game. Some bright spots, though. There were some bright spots. That's what I'm saying. Let's not overreact. Chad says, hello, all. Just roll with Shough. See, we having him make a decision at the 2026 draft. I don't think he can wait. Well, I mean, you don't have to make a decision. You're talking about the long-term future? Are we talking long-term future on August 11th? Rat fans are all over social media yelling Moore called better plays for Shough. He called different plays. Were they better plays? I don't know. I mean, y'all know where I am in this whole thing. Okay? And the Rat lovers absolutely have a point this morning. The play calling was unquestionably different. Look at the numbers right there. Again, something we're going to get into. They played about the same amount of time, per se, time-wise. Rattler actually played a little bit longer. He played almost the entire first half. That Shough didn't get in until the last drive of the second quarter. But look how many more passes Shough threw. There's a reason for that. Rob says, who's ready for Overreaction Monday? I am, Rob. Charles Mangus is here. Good morning. Glad it's only a preseason game. Our defense was average. You do like the 3-4. I mean, come on. Rat's still not a starting quarterback but he's better than Haener. Tyler Shough needs more time. Our running backs suck. Mark Gapsky, good morning. Shough QB1. I guess is this show turned into the Shough QB1 show? I don't mean for it to be that. I really don't. I want to hear from both sides. I mean, that's not what we're hearing from early on. All right, you know what? Before we get to the rest of the show, because we got comments out the wazoo this morning. I knew we would. It's going to be fun because I do want to get into the dimes part of it in a little bit before we talk about all the comments. I want you to hear my thoughts before I just jump into everybody else's. We're going to get to all the comments, I promise. Before we get to that, the rest of the show, let me tell you about our friends at Evangeline Securities. Of course, they're a company that can help you decide if it's the right time to sell your family-run or privately held business. And just as importantly, if they can figure out what that business is worth. There's no preseason for Evangeline Securities. They don't need to figure out who QB1 is. You're QB1. That's why you should give them a call. It's time to reach out to Evangeline's founding and managing partners, Nick Braden and Ron Hemeld. They will start by scheduling a complimentary valuation from their offices either on Poydras Street or in Lafayette. From there, you will be well informed and begin to make the decision on if you decide to proceed. What happens after that? Well, we'll fill you in more later in the show. In the meantime, you can check them out at www.evangelinesecurities.com. That is www.evangelinesecurities.com. Okay, today we also have, we're going to hear clips from Kellen Moore. We're going to hear clips from Spencer Rattler. We're going to hear a clip from Tyler Shough. We want to get their perspective on this whole thing, not just my own. But we are going to start with my own. Again, I'm going to get back to the all the comments, I promise. We got plenty of them. Got plenty of time this morning. I'm going to try to hold it to an hour and 20, an hour and 30 minutes. Gabe's going to come on the show in a little bit, and we're going to have our normal talk. There's more. Look, the funniest comment, and I'm not joking. These are my forget all the Just Saints comments, but my favorite comments, and I've seen this now on a national level. My favorite comment of the entire weekend is the Saints could have had Shedeur Sanders in the second round. They could have had him in the third round or the fourth round too. And I'm not sure. Did he get picked? He got picked before the Saints picked in the fifth round? I don't remember. Doesn't matter. Overreaction. That's what I'm talking about. If anyone thinks that Shedeur Sanders is going to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, then I'm going to be nice. Just lay off the illegal drugs. They're not good for you. They're really bad for you. Shedeur Sanders is not. And feel free to cut this out and play it back or quote me or whatever and read it back to me on September the 7th. Shedeur Sanders is not going to be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. And if he is, they might be worse than the Saints this year. It'll be close. It's preseason, game number 1. Chill out. All right, let's get to the dimes. Derry's done. And here, so we're going to break this up into 4 points. It may be, some weeks it may be 3 points, some weeks it may be 5, who knows? Dimes, it should be 10. So maybe it should be Derry's nickel, I don't know. Whatever. Be concerned about what you saw yesterday, but realize what this is, okay? The play calling, as it is every preseason for all 32 teams, is completely vanilla. What you saw yesterday, you might see 4 or 6 of the plays that they ran yesterday in a regular game. Completely vanilla. What you saw for Spencer Rattler throughout that first, almost full half of his playing might not be the play calling you see for him next week. I mean, it's possible that next week Tyler Shough starts, he gets Spencer Rattler play calls, and Spencer Rattler comes in with the second team, and he throws 22 passes to Shough's 11. We have no idea. Realize what this is. Again, don't overreact, as the title says, but should you be concerned? Sure. It's okay to be concerned, but it's not Chicken Little. The sky is not falling from one preseason game. We knew going into this team. We've talked about this many times. Gabe's already, for Gabe to say he would wear a Saints jersey and buy one himself with his own money, wear it, and then give it away to someone if the Saints win 10 games. Those people thought they're going to win 10 games. They don't think that anymore. No one realistically thinks this team is going to. What is 2025 about? It's about getting better. From August 11th or August 10th yesterday, from getting better from August 10th to January the 4th. That's what this season's about. Anyone who thinks it's anything different is just kidding themselves. Be concerned, but realize what this is. It's preparing themselves with a new coach to get themselves ready for the future. QB1 battle. We talked about it. We're going to talk about it all morning long. No surprises. If anyone was surprised by what they saw yesterday, you're just not listening. You're not paying attention, and you're not open to reality. Shough was the leader for this QB1 battle. Nobody wanted. I got some just. You want to talk about hate comments? Was it last Monday or the? I think it was last Monday. Gabe, on the title slide, said there are signs that point to Shough. Basically, I think that was last Monday. You wouldn't believe, or you might believe, some of the ridiculous hate comments that I received. Because, God forbid, you say that Spencer Rattler's not QB1. He's earned it from the 6 games that he played, that he started last year, and the more interceptions that he threw against touchdowns. No. They drafted Tyler Shough with the 40th pick for a reason. He had the lead the day he was drafted to be QB1, and he still has the lead. You notice some of the media members that have been pushing the Spencer Rattler train are backing off quite a bit. Is it because of his performance yesterday? Probably. So that is an overreaction. And I'm not overreacting to what I saw yesterday. I don't feel any differently today than I felt at 2:59 p.m. yesterday before the game started. The reason why Tyler Shough is going to win this battle is because of where he was drafted and who he was drafted by. It's pretty simple. The script will tell you where this is going. Did you read the script yesterday? Could it be different this coming Sunday against the Jacksonville Jaguars? Sure, it could. As I said, maybe Tyler Shough starts this Sunday. I actually think he will. Just like last week. I told you I thought Spencer Rattler would start. He did. At this point in time, if you ask me today, I think it's more likely that Tyler Shough starts this Sunday. Just so Kellen Moore can say, see, I'm giving them both the same opportunity. It's also possible that Tyler Shough gets the vanilla play calls in the first half, and Spencer Rattler gets a more interesting, let's put it, script. But the script will tell you where this is going. And the script throughout this whole thing, we've told you why the signs are pointing to Shough. Not just before camp started, but during camp, why? Even when Rattler got the ones towards the maybe Rattler was starting more practices as the one. And we're keeping all these stupid stats during practices, which are just ridiculous. I said that from day one. Practice stats don't mean jack. No one's hitting anybody. There's a reason why they're wearing red jerseys in a practice and they don't wear red jerseys in a preseason game. The script will tell you where this is going. When Rattler was getting the ones, guess who was coming in during the session of ones? Tyler Shough was. Why yesterday Spencer Rattler what was he doing? He was handing off and dumping off. He didn't go long. He looked like the same quarterback I saw last year. He didn't go long. He wasn't trying to make reads. He was doing what his coach told him to do, which is fine. Tyler Shough was taking more chances. He throws a pick six. Terrible. It's the worst pass of the day, by far. No question. Tyler Shough's pick six, and he tries to spin it, and we're going to show that clip in just a minute. He tries to spin it like, I'd throw that pass 9 times out of 10. Well, I hope that's not the case, and I hope you don't say that, 4 weeks from now or certainly a year from now, because if you do, you won't be in this league very long. That was one of the easiest pick sixes you'll ever see ever. But the script told you the way they ran the offense. That's why I told you last week and the week before that and the week. If you think this is really an open competition, you are completely 100% naive. This was never an open competition. It still isn't an open competition. But they want you to think it is. Not necessarily you. They want Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shough and Jake Haener to think it's an open competition. Why? Because if you just go out and proclaim Tyler Shough the QB1 from the beginning, how is that going to prepare Spencer Rattler to be the backup? How is it going to motivate Jake Haener? I don't know, but there's certainly more motivation if you tell him it's an open competition, which it never was, and it isn't. Leads me to Don before. Forget about the QB1. My main concern yesterday, and it's the main concern of every single preseason. Whoever has the fewest injuries is in the best position when preseason is over. Now, we don't know, and hopefully we'll find out either today or tomorrow, what is the severity of Trevor Penning's injury and Will Clapp. Will Clapp is the one, and even though he's a backup, you got to be concerned about what that was, because he didn't get off the field very easily. Again, something to monitor, NOLA.com/Saints. We'll be on it all the way. We'll be talking about it again on Wednesday, I'm sure. Trevor Penning, we're excited. I mean, people are excited about seeing him at left guard. Didn't see enough to be excited or not excited. One preseason game. Not even one preseason game. No one played an entire game yesterday except maybe Isaiah Foskey, who is probably, I would assume, finishing out his career as a professional football player. But that's what preseason is. What we worry about more than the QB1 battle is who's going to stay healthy. I'm telling you. I told you in May who the winner of the QB1 battle. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I said that it was about 75% Shough and 25% Rattler. That's what I've been saying. If anything, I've upped that. Maybe it's 80-20 now. I don't know. That's the dime. So we'll go back to some of the comments here. I also want to play some clips. Before we get into comments, let's start off here with a clip from Kellen Moore. You know, yesterday was, although I've listened to some of his comments and listened to some of his interviews, yesterday was the first post-game, even preseason. That's not going to be any different in the regular season. I find it interesting, new coaches, they talk faster. If you listen, they just talk faster than a seasoned coach talks. Listen to a Sean Payton press conference, and I'm not trying to compare Sean Payton to Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore is his first preseason game, whatever. I'm just saying, listen to how a postseason press conference is handled by a veteran. Go listen to Sean Payton or Sean McVay or whoever you want to listen to. It doesn't matter. Somebody who's done this for a while. And then go listen to a guy who's doing his first post-game press conference. And it's like, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. They're nervous too. It's their first game too. But interesting to hear what Kellen Moore said about his team. And more specifically, read through the lines when you listen to this, 1 minute and 27 seconds, what Kellen Moore said and how much he talks about each quarterback in this clip.
First opportunity for our group to come together for the 2025 season. I thought there's obviously some good, some bad, some lessons along the way, which is all to be expected for this group as we continue to build this thing each and every day. I think for all three, there's going to be some good moments. There's going to be some moments we want to have back. We get to learn from those, get better this week. I thought, Spence did some good stuff coming out of there, using his feet in some situations where he had some avoided zone areas. He was able to make some plays out of it. Probably for us, just playing some situational football, we were close on getting in the range for some points, and we just weren't able to get those things done. Tyler played a little bit more just between the second and third quarter. Great 2-minute drive right before the half. I thought he did some really good things there. He felt under control. I thought he managed the situations really, really well. You throw a pick, you got to respond. And obviously no one wants to throw an interception. The way he responded was really, really good. For him to come back and handle that, from an emotional standpoint really well. I thought that was awesome. And then he made a big play to tip there. And, Jake, just the way it played out, Jake only had those last 2 drives. He hopped in there, obviously, unfortunately. He had us moving, and then, unfortunately, the pick again. So, big lesson for us is just we got to protect the football.
Was the plan always for Tyler Shough to sort of see the majority or the bulk of snaps, or is that just kind of how things played out?
We're going to be fairly close, but just the way the circumstance of the rotation in the series worked, he ended up getting a little bit more. But we had some flexibility within that schedule.
Who did he talk about most there? Who did he talk about most? He didn't hardly say anything about Spencer Rattler, and that wasn't just that clip. I didn't just pick and choose and make it and cherry pick it and make it sound that way. That was whenever the quarterback, that was pretty much the entire Kellen Moore portion talking about quarterbacks there. You know, he talked about Spencer Rattler at all. Oh, next week it may be different. That was just a script. Shough played more, blah, 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 blah. Did you notice how fast he talked? Did you notice his breathing? He's a little nervous too. This is his first time doing this. He's already, of course, he's talked to media plenty of times in his career, whether it be as a player or as a coordinator or whatever. This is the first time he's doing it as a coach. He's not polished. He didn't go out there. You know, he knows he's got the coach speak down pretty well, but Sean Payton knows exactly the questions he's going to get when he goes out there, and he knows exactly how he's going to answer them. He only needs 2 minutes. Didn't even need that. He's probably thinking about it as the clock's ticking down to 0. What he's going to say in the press conference. Kellen Moore's not there yet. What did he say? Read through the lines. We always tell you to read through the. Dennis Allen was as easy as anyone to read through. He didn't want to tell you anything, but he would tell you by reading through the lines. Kellen Moore's going to be harder to read as we go along, but he's not hard to read right now. Going back to some of the comments this morning. I'm sorry if I skip over a couple, I didn't mean to. I apologize. Oh, and Tilio, good morning. Earl's picks, and this is from 20 or so minutes ago. Defense was not bad. Penalties are bad. They needed to contain the quarterback. Blah, blah, blah. Yep. Lance, who dat? He's dialed in from a beach in Jamaica. You going to try to find us a quarterback, man? You never know. Maybe who knows? Brian Cavett, good morning. His only concern is the O-line injuries. Exactly what I just said. Doesn't matter why. Practice. Charles, Shough was a little better than Rattler. I mean, his numbers say he was better. He threw twice as many passes. So, I mean, if you think about it, Shough threw twice as many passes. So cut his numbers in half. You cut his numbers in half. I'm going to do quick Shough math here. He was 7.5 of 11 for 82.5 yards. What was Rattler? 7-11 for 85. They're the same numbers. The difference is Spencer Rattler has spent an entire season in an NFL with an NFL team. Tyler Shough has spent, 2.5 weeks of preseason? But that's the way that I would think about it. That's the way that I would look at it right now. But read through the lines, the play calling. So I don't know that you could say Shough was a little better than Rattler. Maybe he was in the grand scheme of things. I thought Shough looked more potentially like what a professional quarterback is supposed to look like. But really, did any of the three look like someone you want to go into the season with? Again, don't overreact. But if that's what we're going to talk about, just saying. I'm going down the list a little bit. Gallus Scratchings. Scratchings? Huh. I'm assuming that's a business name. If that's your name, that might be the most interesting name I've seen quite a bit. Shough was a little better. David +1 #. Call me crazy, but Shough looked a little more calm. Absolutely, he did. Rattler looks like he usually does, on edge and has happy feet. You know what I compared Spencer Rattler to yesterday, going back and forth with UBN via text? Spencer Rattler to me looked like the Easter Bunny, doing his best Easter Bunny impersonation. He was hippity hop hopping all over the place. That's what he does. He hops. Remember they used to call Jim Everett Happy Feet? Kind of a little bit what Spencer Rattler looked like. Bill Mariande said, Saints game was about what we should have expected. Of course. Christopher Fava, Spencer Rattler, not it. Ray Barra, Shough showed some dog in him. He's the guy. He's going to be the guy. He's going to be the guy. I lost him. There it is. Let's see. Jason Benson, make their heads explode. Made people choose between Rattler, Jameis Winston, or Shedeur Sanders. That's pretty funny. But again, Overreaction Monday. People are going gaga. I got to be honest. Okay, so I was interested in the Browns game. And I'm not as bad as Gabe. I will watch some preseason, especially late at night when I'm trying to go to sleep. I'll put it on. I don't care. A replay doesn't matter. I just want to see what's going on. I want to be informed on whatever. Especially with people. I did not see the 70-yard field goal until after, but we'll talk about that later. Shedeur Sanders, when I watched it, the first drive, he didn't look very good. He made some good passes, but I was trying to figure out, why did everyone think he looked so great? But again, you're talking about going against vanilla defenses. It's okay. It's fine. But if his name was Joe Smith and he was a 5th-round pick and he started the game and his name was Joe Smith, would people be going gaga over that performance? Probably not. Maybe I'm wrong. S. Callie, good morning. Who dat? Big Valley. Shough is his number, is his QB1 for this season. I think he's Kellen Moore's too. All right, we got Who Dat Daddy is here. If I can click on it, there we go. He thinks that the guy that I said at this point would be cut was the better guy, i.e. Shedeur Sanders. Well, I'm glad you let into that. One preseason game, you're already saying Shedeur Sanders is better than everybody. I tell you what, who dat daddy. I'll make you a little wager, and I don't know how we would actually do this because I don't want to wager money, but I will wager anyone that both Tyler Shough and Spencer Rattler start more games, more regular season games than Shedeur Sanders starts this year. Sounds like a pretty good bet. I mean, if you're that, convinced after one preseason game, let's make the bet. I don't know. What can I do? I mean, I don't know. We have to figure out how we're going to do it. But let's work on that because I will make you that bet. Any word on Bob Means? No. I don't have any words. I looked right before I went on the air. Well, I looked about 45 minutes before I went on. I did not get any updates on any injuries this morning. Cecil Evans, good morning. No one remembers preseason games except Mel Kiper Jr. has booked a ticket to Canton already for Shedeur Sanders Hall of Fame induction. That's pretty good. Christopher Fava, Spencer Rattler needs to feel the pressure more than he was holding on to that ball too long in the strip sack fumble. Yeah, I mean, he was hopping around. He says so. In fact, you know what? Let's hear from Spencer Rattler. 1:07. Again, you know me. I like to read through the lines. Read through the lines of, he was pretty down here. I mean, what's he going to say? He's not going to come out and say it, how down he is. Read through the lines on everything you hear, everything you see. Sometimes we're not always going to be right. 1:07. We'll be right back.
Too much up and down. We started pretty well. Kind of stalled out in a few drives. A couple misreads. Just not great execution. Not how you want it. I thought I left some plays out there. As a group, thought we could have been better on 3rd down, and then we got to finish in that red zone after the muffed punt. On 4th and 1. Had some good moments, some bright moments, but got to be more consistent throughout the game. Yeah, I mean, we all want to play well. We all had ups and downs. We all just want to play consistent, move the chains, move the ball, and find ways to score points, and got to be better in that area. However long I was supposed to be out there, I was just ready to play. I won't go too in depth with the reps and everything, but, got to make the best out of, all the reps you have as a group. Yeah, I mean, if I could have felt that, obviously I would have, tried to get out of there quicker, but he made a good play, shed a block, and got the hand right on the ball, so I just got to hold it tighter or run, get out of there quicker.
If I could have felt that, that's, to me, that's one of the top things that you look at in a quarterback. What do they feel? I mean, to be a successful quarterback in the NFL, you got to feel that. And that's, when you talk about Shedeur Sanders, and one of the reasons why I'm not a Shedeur Sanders fan, is I don't think he felt enough of the pressure. Did he make great throws? Does he have an highly accurate arm? I think he's got a great arm. I think he's got a very accurate arm, but he doesn't feel pressure. There's a reason why he got sacked as many times he got sacked at Colorado last year, and it wasn't just because his O-line stunk. That all goes into everything. Spencer Rattler not feeling pressure. I mean, sure, it's early in his career too. It's one preseason game. But that strip sack, to me, says a lot. Now, again, I'm going to say what I said earlier in the show. You might not have been here when I said it. That pick six that Shough threw was by far the worst pass thrown in the game by any quarterback playing in that game. And then, again, we're going to get to his quotes in a minute. But don't tell me you throw 9 out of 10. When you see that film, if you still tell me you would make that throw 9 times out of 10, we got a problem. We definitely got a problem if you still think that a month or two from now. Anyway, David Dukas says, good morning. Shough did perform better. However, he also had less 1 and 2s on both sides of the ball. He's ready to see what comes from game 2. Absolutely. And you have to see that. That's what preseason's about. That's why Shough's most likely going to start this Sunday's game. Will a decision be made after this Sunday's game on who the QB1 is? We know that's beneficial for everyone. We want to see who the QB1 is as soon as possible because they need to get themselves, whoever it is, whether it's Shough or if I'm wrong and it's Spencer Rattler, because it could be. It's still, in my opinion, again, it's still kind of a race. I'm going to 80-20 now. I'm saying 80 Shough, 20 Rattler. Not just from this. I was 75-25. I moved to 80-20. If you're new to the show and you don't know who I am. Just makes sense. But what David just said, 100%. Maybe Shough looks terrible with the ones if he plays Sunday and starts. And maybe Rattler looks bad. I don't know. Got to see it. You can't judge from one performance in the preseason. It wasn't even a full half for either one of them. Daryl Hayden. Cam Little, 70-yarder. Is he even going to be the kicker, though? I don't know. I don't know much about. I haven't studied kickers yet. I haven't got to my fantasy. He is the number 1 kicker, Gabe. I thought he wasn't the number 1 coming in. Shows you what I know about kickers. Sorry, I haven't paid a lot of attention to kicker depth charts. As Gabe tells me I don't know what I'm talking about. William says, I said last week Tyler was turning the corner, and he showed it. Yes. First of all, William, okay, we're on the same side and believing what's going to happen, but I don't want to hear Tyler's turning the corner from practice. The same for practice stats go for Tyler Shough as they go for Spencer Rattler. I mean, if you're talking about stat, doesn't matter. Anyway, pick 6 was a learning experience, he says. Absolutely true. The key was how did he bounce back, and he bounced back nicely with a 54-yard touchdown. The way I look at it is this. If you want to talk about points, Shough was +3, Rattler was -3. Shough gave up 7, and he scored 10. Rattler gave up 3, scored none. That's the way I looked at yesterday. Man, how else can you look at it? All right, here we go. It's preseason. Charles Mangus, the refs sucked in that game. Should have been a safety. You're incorrect. 100% not a safety. Contact made was outside of the end zone. And great job by Christian Boyd, by the way. Christian Boyd, we're 39 minutes in the show. Christian Boyd was a major plus. Loved seeing what he saw. I loved seeing him yesterday. Gabe says it's preseason for the refs, too. Doesn't matter anyway. It was the right call. It was not a safety. He was contacted before he went back into the end zone. It's not a safety. That's the rules. You may not like it, but that's the rules. Who Dat Daddy's not backing off. He says they could win 10 games because he's very optimistic and he believes in his team until you can't. 100%, that's exactly the way you should be. I'm telling it the way that I think reality is. But that doesn't mean I think I'm not trying to squash anyone's hopes. You come to the show because you want to hear my take on what I perceive reality to be. That doesn't mean you shouldn't hope that they can be better or if that's your project. If you predicted 10 games, here's the thing. I think you're silly. If you predicted them to win 10 games, I think that's a little silly. However, you shouldn't change a prediction on how many games you think they're going to win from one preseason game. That would be ridiculous. That's just my opinion, too. But that's why my name's on the show. Calvin says if Penning is down, do I think they go pick up a Brandon Scherf? No. I don't. I think that now if Penning and Clapp are both down, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. I'm not. It's a little too early for that. Let's see what it's possible. I think that they need help in other places. More specifically, I mean, tight ends were non-existent. If you want to talk about things that that did matter yesterday, I mean, there isn't a tight end, in my opinion, behind Juwan Johnson. I haven't seen it. That's where they need help. They've got to go find a tight end. I don't know where you find one. You got to find one. Got to find another one. Black Preacher Man's here. Good morning. Salutes. I honestly can't judge this team yet. Yesterday, were bench players trying to make the team. Of course. That's what preseason's about. That's what preseason's about. Chad Gage, Rattler excuses. Allen, O-line injuries, wide receiver injuries, Moore's play calling. Oh, I knew this name was going to come up. Do you miss Derek Carr yet? Okay, no, I just had to do it. Yet Carr was terrible, faced with the same circumstances. Right as a career backup, maybe, if not third on depth chart. This was a question I wanted to ask, and if we were going to be realistic, and maybe we'll do this on a show, Gabe, maybe one Wednesday. We'll put a list of backups in, okay? Because I'm going to tell you right now, and we'll rank whoever the Saints backup is compared to other backups. We can rate the Saints starter compared to other people's backups. I think whoever wins the Saints starting job, I would probably, I'm just guessing. I don't know. I'd have to go through all of them. But I'd probably rank whoever the Saints starter is going to be in middle of the pack among backups. Trey Lance was the best quarterback who played yesterday, and it's not close. Taylor Heineke's probably better than anything the Saints have. But Trey Lance was definitely better than either Shough or Rattler. It's not close, my friends. Daddy doesn't like when I say this. Again, this comment's 20-so minutes old from something I said earlier. They start Tyler Shough simply because Kellen Moore drafted him 40th overall. Then he's saying we win 3 games. Okay, well, then you're saying we win 3 games. Cedric Frugier said he looked way better than Rattler. Cedric also said we need more wide receiver depth. I agree. I think tight ends first, and then maybe wide receiver. And UBN says, and Trey Lance is garbage. I don't know. Now, UBN's biased because he's a 49ers fan. All right, I need to start moving along here. So if I skip some, I'm sorry. But I got to move on. Oh, here's a rat lover. Here's a rat lover. Mark Satanovich. The rat looked good out there. He just needs some solid O-line protection. Shough threw an interception, and so did Haener. I got to be honest, and I asked this question. I'm not trying to be. Mark, Rattler was going up against Chargers starters, big difference. He also had the starting O-line protecting for him, by the way, and more of a starting receiver cast. That's a whole different story. I mean, he didn't have the 1 or 2. But what is worse? Maybe some people don't think either of these are worse. What's worse? Not feeling the presence in the pocket of a rush and getting strip sacked, or throwing a pick? I would absolutely argue that not feeling the presence and getting strip sacked is way worse. I don't know the answer, but, and again, I don't want to compare either one of these guys to Drew Brees, but how many times did Drew Brees get strip sacked in his entire career? I remember 1 or 2. It ain't many. What else we got here? Gary Thomas Bradford. Long time no see. I don't see the major issue was one preseason games. A lot of new guys and young guys with new systems. They got to gel, so no need to panic. I agree. UBN, he's not being funny at all. Saints to be Super Bowl favorites with Shedeur Sanders as a quarterback. I mean, if we're changing our Who Dat Daddy, this is meant for you. If you're changing your opinion on your prediction from 10 wins with Spencer Rattler to 3 with Tyler Shough, that is beyond absurd. If you think there's that much, anybody who thinks right now that there's still this wide gap between the two and Spencer Rattler is that far ahead, you need a reality check, my friend. If you think that, I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I mean, does anyone really think that either one of these quarterbacks is a long-term answer? I mean, it's just one preseason. I don't know. Does anybody really think that that's their long-term answer? UBN says if the Rathead just had the 1990s Dallas O-line, Jerry Rice, and Randy Moss, and the 2000 Ravens defense, then y'all would see he is that damn good. Tony Godot says Rattler looked confused and panicked most of the time. No different than last year. I don't know about confused. And panicked might be a little strong, but he doesn't look comfortable in game situations. He just doesn't. You know when he looks best? When he's like rolling out, and I'm like, there was one when they got the pick, okay, and they're inside, they get the ball inside the red zone, and they don't score any points. There was one spot where I'm yelling at the TV, run! There was an opening to the left. Now, he finally did run, but if he would have ran a little bit sooner, he might have scored. He's not decisive enough for me. I think that Spencer Rattler would be so much better if he threw more interceptions than touchdowns last year, but if he just let himself go, there's no question he has the athleticism to be a quarterback. Just I want to see what he does. Just who cares if you make mistakes? That's what Shough did better than Rattler yesterday. He didn't care if he made a mistake, which is why he threw the pick six, by the way. Just let yourself go, Spencer Rattler. You got nothing to lose. I want to see the athlete in you try to take over. Tom Trice says, it's the first preseason game of the year, but I hoped we would have had more success running the ball. That's something you ought to be scared about. Luke Johnson had a little thing this morning. He points out non-quarterback, if you take the quarterback runs out of the stats, and you see right there, Kendra Miller, 6 rushes for 15 yards. Okay. And I thought in the beginning he looked okay, and then he just disappeared. Rushing attack was almost non-existent yesterday. If you take the quarterback runs out, Luke Johnson, again, type this out, 15 carries for 36 yards. Who is RB2? We know less about RB2 than we know about QB1. RB2 is a mess. Alvin Kamara cannot touch the ball 350 times. He just can't. Just can't. Gerard says the rat has been the same old rat. It's one game. Come on. Now, if he's still doing it, at some point, they're going to have to make a real decision, not one that I think has already been made. Anyway, David Hash says, that missed deep pass on the sideline by Shough, was that an overthrow or a wide receiver miss? Did Shaheed or Olave catch that? I think it was just a bad pass. Well, I don't say bad. It was just it was a slight overthrow. And no, I don't think Olave or Shaheed catch that. Maybe Shaheed because he's that damn fast. I don't know. I think it's a little, but I just look. It's a bad pass. Jules Howard, my thoughts on the pass/rush play calling ratio? The offensive line needs some rush. Jules, I was talking about this in the beginning, and I didn't come back to it fast enough. So I'm glad you pointed it out. The play calling was absolutely different. Okay. There's no question it was different. It goes back to what I'm telling you. The signs are there. If you're open to looking at them, whether you agree with them or not, you don't have to agree with it. Okay. You can think Spencer Rattler is the better quarterback. That's okay. I'm not even telling you you're wrong. I'm telling you what reality is. And that is, Jules, that is the question of the day. And that's why if you're looking for signs, it's why I said it last Monday. If you looked at the signs in practice, it's why I say it today. What did they do? What can you take out of what the quarterbacks did? The play calling was absolutely different. What Shough ran was much more likely what Kellen Moore will run in a regular season. Spencer Rattler was running just conservative handoffs and dump-offs, which is why he was 7 of 11 for just 85 yards. Shough took more chances. Shough threw deep. Shough was looking around. Shough didn't just throw to his first read. How many times did we see Rattler yesterday? And I'm not just talking about last. Forget what my analysis of his play from last year. What did we see yesterday? Whatever the play call was for the first read, that's where he went. That's what he's done since he got here. That's why I'm screaming. I want him to let himself go. Run sometimes when you don't think you need to run. Throw it in a try to throw in a tight window, even if you don't think you can make it. Live on the edge. What have you got to lose? What has this team got to lose? Nothing. Just saying. Tony Godot also says he doesn't think we sign a veteran quarterback unless I think if they want to sign a veteran quarterback, they would have done it already. I think 100%. And I've said this for weeks. I think once they got past that last mandatory minicamp and they went into vacation mode, the 3 or 4 weeks or whatever it is before camp started, once they didn't sign a veteran quarterback before that, they weren't signing one. And, look, do I wish they would have signed one? Absolutely. I would love Teddy Bridgewater in here right now. I don't know why they let him go to the Bucs. It is what it is. Cut Jake Haener. Who cares? Put Spencer Rattler on the practice squad. Yes, he will make it to the practice squad. He's not going to get picked up. I would have much rather seen a guy like Teddy Bridgewater, who is probably a potential coach later on, a veteran quarterback, not to start, but to come in and be a veteran presence. And if these two guys are just that bad and you don't want to embarrass themselves, because it's possible that's what we have. It's possible we have 2 quarterbacks who are that bad and it's going to be that bad. That's why if you had a veteran quarterback, I'm not saying to start, but if it got that bad, then you put the veteran in there. But regardless of all that, you'd have a Teddy Bridgewater on the sideline. I don't think people can realize how valuable that is. If Jameis Winston gets cut, do they bring him back? It's a completely different administration, maybe. I'd like to see it. Just saying. Tedders, what's up? Glad to at least see the game in Boston. Shough's ball placement so much better than Rat. Played differently. Again, one game. Rich Marciano, Trey Lance has been in the league for a while. He hadn't been in the league that long. It was a top 10 pick. You'd hope he's better. Okay, but you're missing the point. The point is that Trey Lance is a backup quarterback, potentially even a third-string quarterback. I mean, maybe Tyler Heineke's the 2. Maybe Trey Lance is on the practice squad or they keep 3. I don't know, whatever. Doesn't matter. The point is, either as a 2 or a 3, Trey Lance is better by far than any quarterback on this roster. It's not close. That's the point. Preacher Man says Isaiah Foskey was the worst 3-year player. Isaiah Foskey is wasted space. However much time the Saints, whatever the Saints pay the person who sews the names on the back of the jersey, let's say it takes 5 minutes to sew a name on the back of a jersey. I'm just going to, I don't know. Sounds about right, right? Let's say it takes 5 minutes. And they pay that person, I don't know, $30 an hour. You do the math. Whatever that is, $2.50, $2.50, whatever it is, they wasted that money for someone to sew the name on the back of Foskey's jersey. $2.50. That's $2.50 they could have had in their bank account. What a waste. UBN wants to know, do I want to get bit by a water moccasin or a rattlesnake? They both will kill you. This is the quarterback situation with the Saints. You don't even know what you stole that. I know you stole that. Just saying. PJ Bear, not feeling a rush is going to kill you. Yeah. Big Belly. Yeah, you were here earlier. Was Trey Lance good, or was the defense just bad at containing quarterback runs? Here's the the old eye test thing. Trey Lance is just that much better than anything the Saints have. I don't care who he was playing against. Savon Rhodes. He feels like we put the time and investment into Shough's development. He does believe that he can be a franchise guy. Maybe. I know this. I haven't seen enough of Tyler Shough to judge. Okay. I just think that, Trey Lance is better. Stutzman is a stud. Christopher says a stud. Preacher Man says a stud. Christopher says a stud. All right. I gotta start moving on until we get a little bit more current here. Here we go. All right. I'm gonna bring in Gabe in just a minute, but I want to hear from Tyler Shough. We did not play Tyler Shough's clip. 1:13. Notice the difference. If you were here earlier and you watched the Spencer Rattler clip, say that 10 times fast. You watch the Spencer Rattler clip and the disappointment. He knows. No disappointment in Tyler Shough's face. He feels like he was better. 1:13.
I was super excited to go out there and just rip it. You're coming in the situation, you know what it is. You got to go out there and operate. And, Kevin said, all those guys, all tight ends, the line, they did a really good job of, yards after the catch, protecting. So it was just fun to kind of get in there and get right to it.
How important was the touchdown, but you did it right after the interception, just kind of bouncing back?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think for me, I was on the sideline just smiling, having, we were like, hey man, this is part of it. I'm throwing that 9 times out of 10. It's the exact look we wanted. He made a really good play and jumped it. So we knew we were going to get the ball back and just go drive down the field and score. And everybody was on the same page. So it was good. Stuff like that happens. It was good to go bounce back and let it rip. No, we didn't win. We didn't end up winning, and obviously we didn't get the job done. But I think for me, just kind of coming first game, and each day, like I said before, I feel more and more comfortable, just coming out there and playing. I think that's what I'm best at, and each day just getting chemistry with the guys. Just really proud of everyone, especially Torcell, the line coming in. Will getting hurt early. That's not easy, playing a really really full game. So it was just exciting to get out there, and we'll kind of keep stacking days.
Difference in mentality. Difference in mentality. That's what I'm talking about. Robbo asked, do I really think any NFL team, I don't know if he's asking me or if he's just saying it in general, do I think any NFL team would pick up Rattler? No, that's the point. That's why I wish they would go. Again, I don't think they're gonna. So the answer to the previous question is, do I think they will get a veteran quarterback? The answer is no. I think they would have done it already. However, I wish they would. I wish they would have got a Teddy Bridgewater or a Jameis Winston, or I don't care that Jameis Winston threw a pick and I don't care. The veteran presence, they need that. They're not going to get it. So, but the answer to your question, Robbo, if they did pick up a third quarterback, they would then cut Haener and have to move one of these 2 quarterbacks on the practice squad. They're not putting Tyler Shough on the practice squad. That ain't happening. So there's only one other option if they were to do that. But it's probably why they don't want to go get one, because they don't want to put Spencer Rattler on the practice squad either, because they know they're both going to play. And see, you want to talk about overreaction money. Charles, do we become like the Jets and keep drafting quarterbacks year after year? Were you here last week when I thought, no, I'm sorry, it wasn't on the show. It was on I might have been mentioned on the show. But again, for anyone new here, I'm doing NFL previews. I'm doing them as shorts every Monday through Thursday until we finish, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. The Jets preview was last week. What did I say about the Jets? They have won just 3, count them 3, 1, 2, 3 division titles since they won the Super Bowl after the 1969 season. And part of it is because they change quarterbacks every other year. So, but to ask, do this Saints team, do they become like the Jets and keep drafting quarterbacks? It's one preseason game into Tyler Shough's NFL career. Are we going to keep doing? No, if you have to, you have to. That doesn't mean you're going to do this for 40 years or 50 years. Come on, man. It's a little much. First of all, neither you nor I are going to be here in 50 years. Not, I'd love to be here when I'm 106, but I seriously doubt it. Well, actually, I say that I probably wouldn't love to be here when I'm 106, because when you get to about 86, that's a different show, a different subject. Some of y'all wish that I'm not here when I'm 57. That's a whole different story. Sean says, shucks, the small sample size looks like it has more potential than the rat. Again, yes. Small sample size, 100%. Let's see. Jason Benson. Body language was completely different. Tone of the voice, everything. Hope versus confidence. One's hoping for the best. The other expects it. Just saying. All right. You know what I didn't talk? I'm going to talk about it after Gabe comes on. I do want to talk about the kicker competition. This is actually interesting to me. This kicker, is there a competition? We thought maybe last year there was a competition and there really wasn't. Should there be? Hopefully I'll remember. Somebody remind me before we go off the air later after Gabe's on, because Gabe's going to come on and then I'm going to wrap it up with more Saints talk, and we'll probably go back to the quarterback position because that's what everybody wants to talk about today. One preseason game. That's what it is. We told you earlier we will let you know more about how Evangeline Securities can help figure out what your family run a privately held business and what it might be worth, whether it's time to sell. There is no preseason game for my friends at Evangeline. How do they do it? Well, thank you for asking. After their complimentary valuation of your company, if you decide to proceed, native New Orleanians Nick Braden, Ron Hamilton, the folks at Evangeline, they will begin an extensive auction process from among established private equity funds from around the world. And they will maximize the return for the founder and his or her family. Evangeline Securities is the top producer on their platform. There are very few companies like them in this area. None, and I mean none. Go ahead, find them. I dare you. Try. Go ahead. None with their dedication and success. They are fully licensed. They are ready to serve you. So get in touch with Nick and Ron about what's really important. And it ain't the score of one single solitary preseason game. What's really important? The rest of your life. You can find them at www.evangelinesecurities.com. Tom Price says Groupie owns that kicker spot. Punter is another story. We have no idea who the punter is. Earl says Groupie is not a bad kicker. Shouldn't be a competition. Kicker, I doubt it. Rob says punter, 100% it's a competition. Just saying. I don't think Groupie can kick as far as Smith. I don't know. Just saying. Oh, by the way, before we get to Gabe, I'm supposed to remind you to subscribe to the Dattitude YouTube channel if you haven't already. And by the way, give us a like. Give us some love. Please, my friend, Mr. Algorithm, he tells me, Derry, they got to subscribe and they got to like. If they don't subscribe and like, nobody cares. Okay, Mr. Algorithm, we told them. We told them. You know what else? You know who else told them? Gabe Henderson told them. You told them all about the algorithm, didn't you?
Well, I've told Saints fans all about how this is going to be a long season. Do you believe me yet?
I mean, I've been saying since I think last season ended. I mean, I wasn't talking about you directly. I know you believe me. It's not about a final record. I mean, how many times do we have to say this? Exactly. It's not about a final record. For a team that is in a rebuilding mode, and I hate that term, but there's no question that's what this team is in. For a team that is in rebuilding mode, what is important, along with the rest of your life, is that you get better from preseason game 1 to the start of the regular season through the regular season. You want to get better every game. Now, you're not going to get better every single game, but you want to be markedly better on January the 4th than you were on September 7th. Now, that rings true for every team, but especially for a team that's in rebuilding mode. I'm being a Debbie Downer. Apparently. Go ahead. Oh, is that what somebody said? No, that's what the comments are saying. They're saying I'm being a Debbie Downer, even though I've said it for months. You're a Derry. It's Derry Downer on this show, by the way. I haven't changed my tune. Oh, you know, this is exactly what we expect. I do see that the Shough holds are out. That also reminds me. And look, this is also for new people, and there's a lot of new people in today. I know because we've got about double the live listeners that we would normally have, which is great. I love you all. Thank you for being here. But this show, if you don't know, if you're new, if you only come in, whether this is episode 1 or 401 or somewhere closer to 1, this is a show about reality. And we talk about reality. I don't try to sugarcoat anything. Now, I will tell you things that I like, but I'll also tell you things I don't like. And so so we don't sugarcoat anything. And this is not a show about, and so the numbers go down, but this isn't the fanboy podcast. If you want that, you're probably in the wrong, but you're going to get honest analysis here. That's what this is. So anyway, all right, Gabe, what you got for me?
I actually agree with Sean here. He said it's not a long season if you're embracing the rebuild. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
If you're going into games looking for wins and losses to dictate your mood, you're going to have a long season.
Especially
if you can find the little positives in each game, then like we've talked about, it's gross.
Yeah, it was different last year because last year, I think, and I went back and looked to see what I predicted, and I predicted the Saints to be 7-10. So even I was a little optimistic. I said 7-10 last year. They were obviously 5-12. But last year was different because, hey, I know people hate when I bring up this name, but at least with Derek Carr and going into the season and with this group of starters, besides the fact that you had a guy that shouldn't have been coaching an NFL football team as your head coach, which ruined everything, there still at least was realistic hope. I mean, I wasn't going to get on anyone last year for thinking that last year's team could possibly win 10 games, because I think they had the personnel last year to potentially win 10 games. If they had all the injuries, you lose your center, you lose your quarterback, you're not going to be good. No. But this year it's different. It's not about wins and losses this year.
100%. And that's why I don't think, call me a doubter for saying that.
We're not being down.
I think it's unrealistic.
Yeah, it's not being down.
I'm telling it like it is. I mean, I've seen comments today that have already compared Shough to Drew Brees and people calling him a franchise quarterback.
How did I miss that?
I saw a Brees one and a franchise quarterback one.
Oh, that must have been when I was trying to get closer to the president. I just missed that.
And then also saying that Rattler still has some sort of future. I mean, it's both sides.
That reminds me, and I was going to make a slide for this, but we did a little thing, and I don't always love when we do this, but on NOLA.com/Saints, we had fan reaction, and I don't know if we just randomly pick people, because the one that I'm gonna read 2 of them. Okay, I don't know about the second one, but the first one has he's got 190 followers. While we picked this guy, I think it was just random, type in Saints, and the first one that came up, we put it in, but whatever. And I went and looked at this guy, and this guy was all over the place. So I'm not going to even mention his name because I don't want to give him any more followers. But he says, Tyler Shough, quote, looks literal centuries better than Spencer Rattler.
That's crazy.
That is insane.
That is one of the worst picks I saw this weekend.
I mean,
I'm not even okay. So here's
he might be better. He might turn out being better, but he's not centuries ahead of. That's absurd. That was an absurd comment. But anyway,
no, so here's the thing. Here with Shough, I saw 2 of his passes. I saw his touchdown and I saw his pick. And I don't think this is an exaggeration by any means to say that I've seen a high school quarterback make both of those throws. I didn't learn any. You could drive an 18-wheeler between Mason Tipton and the defender on the touchdown.
Here's another one, and I'm only going to read 2. This is actually a person who has commented on this show before, because I recognize this name. Again, I'm not going to say the name on the air, but he types in and he puts a clip of the touchdown pass, Tyler Shough for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
All the number.
Yeah.
All the number.
Yeah.
If you give me Tyler Shough against the field, I'm putting a mortgage payment on the field.
And the last one, Spencer Rattler is literally just playing to survive. I don't even know what that means.
I'm not taking anything out of preseason. I'm sorry.
It's especially not from
meaningless.
Social media comments. Chad says he had the wins at 5. Now he drops them to 3 after having 4 injuries in the first.
Okay. That is the one thing I will say. Chad's onto something here. If you are going to have an opinion on the season and how, and if you're going to let preseason impact your belief of the regular season, Chad's in the right spot here. Injuries are the only thing that matter.
Yeah. Barry says Did the Saints over under move to 4.5 last week? It did move to 4.5, and I looked at it this morning to see if any odds had changed, because I was actually going to make a slide with odds, and I didn't need to because they have not changed. And the odds makers, there's another thing. We always talk about, look at the odds makers. What do they say? They say don't overreact. So they are not judging anything by one preseason game, nor should anyone else. None of the odds change. They didn't even change like a little bit. The numbers were exactly the same as they were on Friday. Jason Benson, we're realists here. Still Who Dat Nation regardless. 100%. That's what you're supposed to be, you know? Preacher Man says he doesn't see your take, Brother Gabe. When no key players played in it, was nothing but backups on both sides of the ball.
I mean, I'm just saying that I thought we were going to have, or I thought the Saints were going to have a rough season. I mean, my opinion did not change. I did not watch the game.
And that's the point.
An expected result.
That's exactly the point. What we talk about is our opinions don't change because of one I don't change my win total, and I don't even know 100% what it's going to be yet, but I'm certainly not judging it off of any preseason game, much less one preseason game. So I'm not going to change anything, I think. Now, I agree with Chad before about talk about injuries. You do have to monitor that and see how important they are or whatever.
Especially on a team that doesn't have as much depth, as has been noted by multiple people on the show. But I did want to talk about Williams' comment.
Go ahead.
So he said pass on Winston. We saw that show already. And I wanted to run through. I wanted to run through quickly because you called it up earlier.
You're leading into where I wanted to go. Okay, good.
Yep. We've got a list of backup quarterbacks in the NFL, how they're listed right now. And I would take, I don't think this is an exaggeration, a majority of backup quarterbacks over anyone on the Saints roster.
Tell me the backup quarterbacks you wouldn't.
Okay, let's do
you
it.
Wouldn't take. Let's
running through it right now. In the AFC East, I wouldn't take Zach Wilson over.
Now, what Gabe is talking about right now is these are the backup quarterbacks he would not take over whoever. We don't know who's going to end up being the starter for the Saints, but either one of them doesn't make a difference. So basically, what he's saying is, what backup quarterbacks are not as good as either one of the Saints' two quarterbacks? Fredericks. Preseason is nothing but smoke and mirrors for sure. And Sean says if you base it on preseason, the Chargers are going to win the Super Bowl. Yeah, very well. You know, actually, there are a lot of people who think they're being cutesy by making the Chargers saying they're going to go 11 wins, and they're just tired of the Chiefs.
Anyway, this is your friendly reminder that Justin Herbert has never won a playoff game.
And a second reminder that this is AFC West week on my NFL previews, which started today with the Denver Broncos. Tomorrow will be the Chiefs, and then the Raiders, and then the Chargers on Thursday. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so for running through quarterbacks, I wouldn't take Zach Wilson in the AFC.
Neither would I.
I wouldn't take Jake Browning. I wouldn't take Mason Rudolph.
Wait, you got to tell us the teams.
Okay. I mean, do you want me to?
Not everybody knows.
You want me to quickly run through?
Jake Browning. Just tell me Jake Browning.
Jake Browning, Bengals.
Okay.
Mason Rudolph, Steelers.
Yeah, we've seen that show plenty of times.
I wouldn't take Brandon Allen from the Titans.
Okay.
Nick Mullins is tough. I don't think I would take Nick Mullins.
He's been around too long.
I don't think I would take Nick Mullins over them.
Jags. Nick Mullins.
Jags. Nick Mullins.
Yeah. Okay.
In the AFC West, I wouldn't take Taylor Heineke over either of them, but I think I would take every other backup in that division.
I would take Trey Lance.
I know you would. Even I would, which says something. NFC East, I wouldn't take Joe Milton. I'm sorry.
No.
And
there are some people out there that love Joe Milton.
They've seen the praise.
There were people like say on this show that commenting the Saints should have drafted Joe Milton. No, absolutely. Joe Milton
stinks.
Then they should trade for Joe Milton, they were saying.
We do this cycle every year where people see practice clips of Joe Milton and then they're like, "Oh
Next
my
year,
God, he's the second coming."
This is going to be
the rumor this year.
This is going to be blasphemy when I say. Watch this. Watch him go off when I say this. We're going to lose viewers when I say this. You ready? And I don't care that we lose viewers when I say this. Shedeur Sanders is this year's Joe Milton. I said it. Next year, no one will be talking about
Shedeur after I go through.
No one will be talking about Shedeur Sanders next year at this time. Go ahead.
So I
just real quickly some other.
with Joe Milton, real quick. So I saw someone say the other day that they talked to NFL execs, and quote 10 NFL execs believe that he could be a franchise quarterback, which I think is hilarious because he's now going into his second year as a backup.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
right.
NFC North. I wouldn't take Tyson Bagent. I probably wouldn't take Hendon Hooker.
He was hurt.
Bears.
We don't know yet.
Bears and the Lions. I liked Hendon Hooker coming out of college, but I don't know.
Here's a good one. Would you take Jackson Dart? Well, obviously,
yes.
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious.
Yes.
The Saints wanted the Giants sniped them. I think that's who the Saints. I mean, Tyler Shuck's the quarterback, and it made the Saints reach to draft Tyler Shuck higher than they really want. We've talked about how I don't think anybody reasonably thinks Tyler Shuck was worth a 40th pick of the draft. He probably could have been gotten with the 60th or the 70th pick of the draft. But the reason why they took him with the 40th pick is I think Jackson Dart was clearly their number one. Tyler Shuck was their number two. And when the Giants sniped him, they thought they had no other choice but to take Tyler Shuck. So the answer is yes, the Saints. I think the Saints absolutely, if they could change right now, swap out and take Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart would unquestionably be the starter for this football team.
The only quarterback on the Giants roster that I wouldn't take is Tommy DeVito.
Oh, and by the way, that doesn't mean I think Jackson Dart's going to be a good quarterback in the NFL. I'm telling you what I realistically what I
I would take Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, or Jackson Dart over any of the Saints quarterbacks.
I don't think there is a single decent, and I say decent, when I say decent, I mean potential NFL starting quarterback in this league out of anyone from this draft crop except for Cam Ward. And even he is a question mark. So that's my feeling. I'm not just ripping on Shedeur, by the way. I'm ripping on all of them. And it includes Tyler Shuck, too. I don't think any, look, someone's going to prove me wrong because there will be someone from this draft class. And you'll say, you see, you were wrong about Jackson Dart. Yeah, but I wasn't wrong about A, B, C, D, and E. So that's just my opinion. I just don't think that any of these quarterbacks are any good. Tommy Cutlets, forget about it. Go ahead.
I wouldn't take Kyle Trask, and he's the only other NFC South backup that I wouldn't take. I would take both Kirk Cousins and Andy Dalton.
Oh, for sure. Point. I don't know. Andy Dalton, I don't know. I'm done.
I would.
You can. I wouldn't take Andy Dalton.
I would.
What about McCarthy?
And then in the NFC West,
Gary Bradford wants to
do what?
What? Gary Bradford.
Yes, I would take J.J. McCarthy over every Saints quarterback, and I'm not a J.J. McCarthy fan.
I mean, just where he went in the draft with that group, he would have probably been the number one pick this year ahead of Cam Ward.
Then I would take every NFC West backup.
Okay. Thanks. Man, so you're saying that there's like 20 of them ahead of him. All right. Well,
yeah. I mean, I think it's grown.
All right, we got about 10 minutes left. Again, last chance to get your Saints comments in because Gabe's going to be with us about another minute or two, and then I'm going to be on for another 8 to 10 minutes as we wrap up this show on this Mano E Monday, this Overreaction Monday. I just want to talk about, I'm not trying to overdo it. I'm just saying there's been so many comments here today and on social media. I just think it's hysterical that people are already saying, and they may be right. I don't think either one of them is starting quarterback. When you compare Shedeur Sanders, I mean, how can you compare Shedeur Sanders to Tyler Shuck from what you saw in a half of a preseason game? It's the most ridiculous overreaction, moronic, stupid comment that I've seen. And I'm talking, when I say comment, I mean multiple comments. I'm lumping them all together that I've seen the entire weekend.
So here's the thing. Shedeur Sanders is getting a lot of praise for his touchdowns. Did you see the touchdown he threw into a tight window?
Yeah, that was a great pass. I thought it was
starting NFL defensive backs are picking that off.
I agree, but I agree 100% with you. When he threw it, I'm like, ooh, that's not good when he first threw it because I was watching that live. But then on a dart, on a line, right there. It was a great pass. But you are 100% right, and I said that to no one. My wife's sitting there because she could care less. We were sitting there together. She was playing on her phone. But I said, if that happens in a regular season game, that's a pick 8 times out of 10. So anyway, Jason Benson, plug the sponsor. I always plug Evangeline Securities. We love Evangeline Securities. But you're right. I can't say it enough. Thank you, Nick Braden and Ron Hemelt. Okay. Anyway,
I just want to know. Let me ask a question while we're talking about this. I want to
please.
give Daryl time to respond. Daryl, what do you see from Tyler Shough that makes you believe he has a higher ceiling? I've seen multiple people ask, like, what have people seen from Rattler to believe this?
I think Tyler Shough has a
agree.
higher ceiling in general, and so
Then who? Rattler?
Than Rattler. Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Okay. Well, what are you?
But I just want to know what people are seeing to believe that Tyler Shough has some sort of high potential, because the touchdown pass that he had, I'm not kidding, seeing a high schooler make.
Yeah, he was wide, and I mean
wide open.
wide open.
Like I said, you could fit an 18-wheeler.
I mean, I couldn't throw it because I can't throw it that far.
Yeah.
But I mean, because people say, I could have done that. Well, I couldn't because I couldn't throw it that far, and I probably wouldn't have seen him in an NFL game anyway. But yeah, I mean,
he said cannon. Spencer Rattler has a cannon too.
Spencer Rattler has a very good arm. So does Shedeur Sanders, for that matter. In fact, Shedeur Sanders might have a better arm than both of them.
He does.
So that's one thing that Shedeur Sanders absolutely has. Daryl wants to know, why is Dart better? I didn't say Dart was better, although I do think Dart is better. That's a whole different show. But what I was saying was the Saints 100%, zero doubt in my mind. That's who they wanted. They wanted Jackson Dart. I'm not telling you who I think. I don't think Jackson Dart's gonna be a great starter. I do think he will start one day because I think the Giants are gonna force the issue. However, I don't think he's gonna be a long-term great starter in this league. That you're missing the point.
Yeah, it's rough. I was talking about the Giants with some friends the other day, and I believe they're going to be better than a lot of people think. It's just that schedule is so tough, and we both had them going under this year.
Yep. I think
I just don't.
The Giants and Saints.
I think you have to see Jackson Dart at some point, because that schedule is going to get so rough where
you probably will
have to throw. Here's why I say that. You're going to have to see what you have in Jackson Dart from a Giants ownership perspective, because if he's a miss, if Jackson Dart is just not very good and they keep losing games, Brian Daboll's gone.
Yeah, and you have to see what a first round pick is going to be. It's you like 100%. You have to see what first round picks. You're not just going to, like, especially when if you're at 2-8, and like, what do you have to lose? I mean, it's like Drake May last year. You knew the Patriots at some point were going to put in Drake May, but you start Jacoby Brissett, and if you're good, then great, it's laying you. Then you wait and see what you got with Drake May later. But there was a 90% chance that team was going to fail last year. You put Drake May in, which is the only there's a big difference, though, to me, between Jacoby Brissett and Spencer Rattler, is that Jacoby Brissett was a seasoned veteran who showed that he can play in the NFL, at least well enough to not just bring the team down. And then at some point, you're like, okay, we're making the change. He might have even got hurt. I think Jacoby Brissett got hurt. Spencer Rattler is not Jacoby Brissett. So anyway, that's why I feel differently about
quarterback coach room versus Saints quarterback coach. I would take the Giants quarterback coach room 10 times out of 10. I love Brian Daboll.
I think it's way too early to judge.
He won a playoff game with Daniel Jones.
And then they also went in the tank and stuck with Daniel Jones. Like
he had to. You had to after he won a playoff game.
They look, as an organization, they decided to let Saquon Barkley walk and keep Daniel Jones.
Yeah, but that wasn't Daboll's decision.
He's probably a part of it.
No,
I can't imagine that he wasn't a part
tell me
of that.
that a sane NFL coach would be okay with letting Saquon Barkley walk. That is 100% an ownership decision.
I think he was in the room when it was talked about, and
I think he had no choice.
I doubt he was stomping his foot. And I know as an NFL coach, I'd have been stomping my foot and going crazy and acting like a 2-year-old.
Yes, sir. Because
there's
just
no
sane coach would be okay with that.
I can't necessarily.
To answer the question, I would take Brian Daboll over Kellen Moore.
I think it's way too early to figure out. I would, in this situation, like if you compare today's Brian Daboll to today's Kellen Moore, I would rather have Kellen Moore, because at least there's hope with Kellen Moore. Brian Daboll is 98% chance getting fired before the season is over. I mean,
if you were offered one of the coaches to coach this team, who would you take?
I mean, Brian Daboll will get another job. There's no job.
100%. No. I'm gonna take the situation out of it, because I agree. I think Daboll will be fired. Who would you rather have coaching your team?
Kellen Moore. For this team, Kellen Moore. There's hope. There's hope for a long time to me, and I'm with you. I like Brian Daboll. I think he's going to be somewhere. He's going to be a successful head coach. I just don't know where. It's not right now. But if you're talking about for this franchise, this Saints franchise, which is in a different situation than most, you're talking about a future. I would rather see someone young, up and coming, getting his first chance, just like they did in 2006 with Sean Payton. Am I saying Kellen Moore is going to be Sean Payton? No, he could be.
Yeah,
though.
that's exactly what you're saying, Jim.
I'm saying he could be.
Yeah,
I mean, so I'd like to see it anyway.
Just messing with
All right. I don't know. Wednesday we're gonna have some fun. I really do want to end this show at 1:30, so we got to go. But we'll have some fun again on Wednesday. I don't know who the guest is yet, but you and I will have fun after.
Hey Ray, if you keep those comments up,
leave them. Don't just ignore them. We're trolls. By the way, we are not. I'm not quick on the trigger with trolls, and I don't bar you. And Ray, you've been here for a while, but you keep bashing my boy Gabe, you're gonna be gone. Okay. It's not. He's on this show because I want him on this show, and if you don't like it, I don't care. See you Wednesday, Gabe.
All right, sounds good.
There's a reason why he's here, because I want him here. If you don't like it, he's going to be on this show. Unless he's got something else to do, he's going to be on the show every show. For 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, whatever it is. It is what it is. He's part of this show. He's been part of the show. And something else about Gabe that some of you may not know if you're not a regular is when Gabe got let go by the company that I work for now, he chose to stand by me afterwards and do this for free. And he helps me immensely. So he's still here because he wants to be here. Doesn't have to do this. He's got plenty to do. He's got a full-time job. He's got plenty to do. He doesn't have to be here. He's part of the Datt family. He's here and he's not going anywhere. Anyway, all right. We're not always going to agree. I don't always agree with Gabe. In fact, some of the best moments we've had on the show is me and Gabe going at each other. Sure, it'll happen again soon. All right. I love some of the comments here. Douglas Thornton, I didn't see you earlier today. Were you here earlier and I missed you? Don, I'm glad you're here. He loves the more hire, youth, and a great opportunity for growth over time. Absolutely, Douglas. I just think that, again, for maybe 26 teams, I would choose Brian Daboll over Kellen Moore. But right now, the spot that this team needs. What was I saying this time last year? Or maybe not, maybe a little bit later. I laid off of Dennis Allen from when they made the decision they were sticking there. I said, okay, we got to move on. But when it was apparent that he wasn't going to stick around, what have I been saying? This team needed and still needs a breath of fresh air. It needs youth injected into it, like into its arm. It needs youth. And that is what Kellen Moore is going to help bring. In the long run, I think he's going to be a very good coach. I like what I've seen so far. Again, you listened to his press conference, and we played it earlier. If you weren't here earlier, read between the lines. And what do you see with Kellen Moore? Is I see a young coach who is going to learn along the way, and he's talking fast. He's talking fast. He's nervous. He's probably more nervous talking to people like me than he is calling a game, because you get into the game and you don't think about it. He's trying to say everything that's on his mind. His mind is racing when he's talking to the press. That will change. I'm going to take this press conference, and maybe not from this one. Maybe I'll take it from the first regular season game. And then I'll play his press conference from the last regular season game. And we'll compare the two. And I bet you he's talking slower. He's talking more. Even if the Saints stink, he's talking slower. He's talking more confident, because he's still learning too. Whoever the quarterback is, whether it's Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shough, he and Kellen Moore are going to be learning together. Both of these quarterbacks, by the way, and something that I never said, both of these quarterbacks, I would be very surprised if both of these quarterbacks don't start, I'm going to say, at least 3 or 4 games. It's somewhere along the line. Both of these quarterbacks are going to get a chance to start and play. Maybe we'll find something out we didn't know before. Maybe we won't. But as I go out today, and I thank all of you tons of comments. You were all awesome today. As I go off here on this Mano E Monday, I'm going to repeat what I said in the beginning. It's one preseason game. You can learn a little bit from every play, every series, every quarter. But you can't know. If you thought the Saints were going to be good before the first preseason game, then you shouldn't change your mind. If you thought the Saints were going to stink before the first preseason game, you shouldn't change your mind. Don't let one preseason. If you thought Spencer Rattler should be the starting quarterback before yesterday, you should still think that today. I'm telling you why I don't think it is, but we shouldn't let one preseason game change our opinion on anything. It doesn't make any sense. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens this Sunday. Let's see what happens the Saturday after that against the Denver Broncos in the Superdome. Let's see. Lots to see going forward. We have gone over our time. It has been a crazy, fun. I tell you what, for the first Monday of preseason, we had a great turnout. It was I would venture to say, Gabe, it was as many as we have for a regular season game, even early last year. I'm glad there's interest. You're supposed to be interested in your team. You're supposed to care about what happens to your team. I say this over and over again. Next show is Wednesday. You know that already. Don't stop caring about your team. Don't stop loving because you had a bad day. We all have bad days. Don't forget to subscribe and like this show. We want you to come back again Wednesday, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, live at 11 a.m. Central Time. We want you to come back. We love you. Again, we don't all have to agree on everything. We do need to be respectful of one another. That's about the only rule I really have. As long you can have any opinion you want, and we'll talk about it. Let's just be respectful of one another. That's all I ask. Because I respect and love all of you. And we will be back in Wednesday, August the 13th, 11 a.m. Central Time. I don't know who our guests will be. I know Friday, on August 15th, Zach Ewing will be here. And Zach's going to be pretty much be with us on Fridays for the rest of the go here in this football season. And beginning, I think, August 29th, which just happens to be a certain host's birthday. I don't know who that is. Someone, one of us. Yeah, we'll celebrate in style by moving into, I think we're going to do our predictions, and it'll be college football week 0. Is that week 1? Okay, that's week 0, right? August 20th. That's week 1. The week before is week 0. Okay, so we'll have, I think you and I will probably just do predictions for week 0. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, we're going to get into, that's what our Fridays will be. It'll be predictions on Friday, and it will, including Saints, and Zach will come on and give us a couple predictions of his own. We'll do a Saints preview every Friday. That's how it's going to go. And Wednesday will be guest day. Wednesday, we will have a guest. And Monday, just me and you. Mally Mal, where you been? Preseason is just trying out things to see what works and what doesn't. Absolutely correct. You're good, Ray. You're good. Just remember where we are. And last comment of the day, Mark Gapsky, even though he's a Padres fan. Great show. Thanks to you, Mark, and thanks to all of you. Again, that is going to wrap it up for us on this Mano E Monday. I want to thank today's guest, you, Gabe Henderson, and you are our guest. You're more than just a guest. You're a family. We hope you can join us again on Wednesday. I don't know who the guest is. When I find out, I will let you know. A reminder to subscribe to our Dattitude page. I know I said this already. I'm still reading off of my closing script. Got to tell you again anyway. Click the little bell to receive notifications when we go on the air live. You can also find us wherever you get your podcasts, including Apple, Spotify, and many more. You can also find a replay of the show at NOLA.com/sports. You can check me out, bet.NOLA.com. You can check the Saints Insiders out. They got all the info. You want to know about these injuries going on, NOLA.com/Saints. You need to check them out. And Gabe Henderson always on sportsbookreview.com. It's going to be a fun, interesting week. Find out about those injuries hopefully in the next day or two. We'll be able to talk about them on Wednesday, and we will see you on Wednesday. Take it easy, my friends.